It's Al Angelo from A Plus Racing. I'm bringing you a video on part 2 of electrical. All right, it's like basic electrical. I got a lot of comments. People really love the first one. We got a few people didn't like the way I was telling you about it, but hey, I don't care if they like it or not. Anyhow, so we covered some symbols and a basic electrical diagram. Let's move forward on that. So I've got a couple drawings on the board. Okay, this is a little bit of review. So this is our symbol for a battery. This is our symbol for a fuse. This is our symbol for a single pole, single throw switch. We'll get more into that later on. This is a load, it's a light, and this is a motor, okay? This here I added, this is a fusible link, and a lot of times we see these close to a battery, and I'll talk more about those, but you know, on our Miatas, we're not really seeing them on that, but I want to show you because you could run into a diagram that shows you that. I want you to know what it is. So it's basically the same thing as a fuse, except it's called a fusible link. And the way that it works is that there's like a big wire going to it, a big wire coming out of it, and inside is a thin little wire. And then once it gets, so like on this one is a 20 amp, once it gets over 20 amps, then that little thin wire breaks. The bad thing about the fuse links is you can't tell by looking on the outside. On a regular fuse, you can tell it's popped because you can see it. That it's popped. On this one here, what we do is we take it and we stretch it. If it feels like a Stretch Armstrong, it's probably broken inside. You can also use an ohms meter or a test light. We'll talk about those two items a little later on. But I want to get to this one, all right? A lot of people don't understand how a relay works, and we use relays all over the place, okay? So I want to explain that. Okay, so the way that a relay works, so the horn relay, the headlight relay, the starter relay, you know, the fuel pump relay, the computer relay, they all work exactly the same, okay? And here's how it works. First, you have to know if we take an electrical wire and we wrap it around a couple of thousand times and we run voltage through it, it becomes a magnet, all right? So basically that is a magnet. And that's very similar to like when you go to the wrecking yard and they got that big crane and it lowers that big huge round thing on top of a car. The crane operator hits a switch and it picks the car up. Well, it's a big magnet. And the way it works is it's got coil wires in there going around tens of thousands of times, and he's running power through it. So when he runs power through it, it's a magnet. He picks up the car, he takes it over to a place where he wants it. He shuts the power off to the magnet, and boom, the thing comes falling down. That's what that does, all right? So it's a magnet. And then there's a switch right here. All right, so this magnet is going to control that switch. So it's kind of like on a regular light switch. If I was to have a magnet on it and the switch was made of metal, could I turn the switch off and on with the magnet? That's basically what we're doing. So here's what happens. So we're going to power up both of these. So this one usually goes to another switch, okay, that, let's just say it's the ignition switch, all right? So, and then this has got to go to ground, and we said that there is a return to the battery. So what's going to happen is the way that we turn this one on is like, we'll say this is the ignition switch. When we turn the key, we send power here, this becomes the load, and it turns on the magnet, it goes to ground, which goes back to the battery, and then something here, you know, this is going to be B positive, and then maybe this goes to the starter motor. Starter motor's grounded out. Okay, yeah. So basically what happens here is this ignition switch is going to go ahead and power up the magnet. The magnet's going to flip the switch. Battery positive comes into here, and it goes into the motor, and then it goes back to return to the battery. I just taught you how to steal a car, okay? So I probably should have used a different example. So that's what a relay does. So whether it's a horn relay, a starter relay, a wiper relay, the window relay, that's what it is. So know that most relays have 4 different pins going to them. But sometimes I'll see this. I'll see that the way that this leg is getting its power is from here. So in that case, this would only be a 3-pin. Each one of these is a pin. This would be a 3-pin relay. Okay, so sometimes you see 3 pins, sometimes you see 4 pins, and on a Miata, they use them both. All right. The next time it's going to get a little more sophisticated. We'll actually break out some wiring diagrams and we'll look at them. All right. Hey, thank you for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate it, and I'll see you at the racetrack. Bye now.